the AI tools. Is
Yeah.
that on Canva?
That's
Yeah,
my
it is
Canva.
on
Okay.
Canva. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So what we have is Google Notebook, analyzes and summarizes your content. ChatGPT, conversational AI, creative writing journal. So ChatGPT, I feel like ChatGPT wants to be your friend because of some weird interactions I've had with it where it remembers me and it's like, hey, anyway. And then Perplexity is more formal and less friendly, although I was having a lot of fun playing with it today, telling it to be less formal, and it was trying, but it wasn't really succeeding. Um, I'm not going to read this. I just have this on here so that if people want to see it on the video, they can. But from ChatGPT, I asked it, what's the difference between these three? And first it gave me this language and it goes, great question. And it puts in these little pictures and stuff. And then it gave me this nice chart, which was really helpful. And then it said, let me know if you want help choosing one. And then I asked Perplexity, and Perplexity gave me this big chart, and it had a lot of stuff on here that it was better at than ChatGPT is. So I think it was trying to prove itself. And then it gave me its language. And so this will be on the video if you want to go back and look at it later. But in general, this is what the differences are. So I have not used Google Notebook for this. As we were saying earlier, I used it to generate a podcast from 2 sentences, which was kind of scary. ChatGPT is best for like friendly AI. Like I use it to write emails and things like that. And then Perplexity is if you really want to do hardcore research, Perplexity is really good with that. And it's more current online. So each tool is different depending on how you want to use it. So I am going to stop sharing. And we are, I guess we haven't really introduced ourselves, have we? Come to think of it.
Not officially.
So,
Oh, all right.
okay, so I'm Elizabeth Gearhart, and my husband and I have a radio show and podcast called The Passage to Profit Show. I also have a couple other podcasts, and we started out on radio at iHeart, and it turned into a podcast. We do it every week. We interview entrepreneurs, and we've been doing it for 7 years now. And in the meantime, we started this meetup group, and not my husband, he's not part of it, but Stacy and I started it, and Sonia joined us, and then I also taught a class, which was really fun because we had a really great group. Melissa was in that group. And we've been remodeling our podcast studio, which is finally done. So I have a couple people already who I'm helping to start their podcast. So we're doing it up there, and we're having an open house April 28th to show it off. So that is me.
Excellent. And I'm Sonia Satra. I am a coach and also the founder of a company called Personalize, which integrates mindset and movement. And in my former life, or sometimes life, I was an actress, am an actress. Most best known as Lucy Cooper Spalding on Guiding Light and Psycho Nurse Barbara on One Life to Live. But I promise.
Yeah, but you're not psycho at all.
Currently have a little spot on a Netflix series, or show. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here tonight with everybody to talk AI. Stephen, passing the baton.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm an attorney at Gearhart Law. I am not a podcast expert like the other three here. I'm here. I help out with the Zoom. I monitor the chat. So if anyone has any questions during the the presentation, throw them in the chat or just send them to me in the chat, and I'll try and weave them into the conversation. And other than that, I'm here to help out. Sometimes there's a legal question that I have fun answering, but other than that, that's why I'm here.
Stacy, you're on.
So, yeah, Stacy Sherman. I have a company by the same name of my podcast, doing CX right, doing customer experience right. I'm first and foremost a keynote speaker, traveling around the world and helping companies understand how to differentiate their brand, gain loyal followers and referrals by really experience management. And now AI has become part of my story because we live in an AI world, and yet I am screaming from the rooftops that we need human-centered leadership in the AI world. So a little bit about what I do. Podcasting is a love. It's a baby I've been growing up with. I'm raising an author and I have 2 LinkedIn learning courses. So I'm very passionate about teaching, educating, and peer-to-peer education, and happy to be here with you today.
Great. So you're going to kick it off with Google Notebook.
Okay, so then I need to share my screen and we'll do some show and tell.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
You should be
Let's
able to because you're a
Let's
co-host.
make sure can you see my NotebookLM?
Yep.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay, great. Although I wonder if I bring this over to my camera over here, will I mess up? I don't know. All right, well, I'm going to look at the screen. I don't know if I'll mess up my 2 dual screens here. So let me just stay here. So NotebookLM, it is a tool that you can do so much with. We could take 2 hours, but we don't have that much time. So let me get to some use cases based on what I believe you'll care about and some of the questions that were in the chat. So the first one is, I was just thinking, I did this in real time. In fact, I'll try it again. If somebody said, oh, I want to be a guest on a podcast about XXX. So let's call it, in fact, I'm going to do it brand new so that you don't have my customer experience one. So create new. All right, so this is the first screen you get when you come here. I'm going to start with the use case of people want to be a guest on podcasts. Where can they go? So let's start with that use case first. So I clicked on Discover. I want to be a guest on a podcast about cats. Or give me something that's what's very common. Burnout, mental health. Anybody have I'll help someone here in real time. I can't see my chat screen. So tell me what.
There's one,
We got a
burnout.
burnout.
Okay.
Got a burnout.
I want to be a guest on a podcast about burnout topics. Where help me identify 20, oops, won't let me when someone's trying to get admitted. Identify 20 podcasts that I can reach out to. Now, this is certainly a use case, and this is not the only tool that you could do this with. And let me just start there. But because we were talking about it before, I just want to share that you can do this because you can feed off this with other use cases. So what this did was burnout podcast looking for guests. It came up with all these different topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import these 10 sources here, and then we're going to work with this. Now, this is not my normal topic, so it's going to be a little confusing because most of my content here, Google knows me as customer service and experience, but we're going to test this out. So I'm going to generate this while we're talking. Now, I can start to have some more conversations about here, including some of these things that they say are very common people want to know. So let's say, I can say, well, let's give me a mind map of all these topics that can help me figure out my content, who to go after. So let's see. So these are some of the topics based on the sources that we pulled, and I can drill into them. So this gives you some content ideas and you can go into them. Now this one's podcast themes and topics. So let's see. Now it gave me all these things that you can dig more into. And now it gave me directly addressing burnout. This person tackles burnout. All these different themes and topics and people, and then it gives you the number that it's the source from over here. Now, let's say I don't love all the sources. I want more. Well, what I could do is I can add. Where? I can paste copy from, let's say there's a document or ChatGPT gave me great stuff. I can paste it in here. I can give a YouTube link, which I'm going to show you a use case in a moment. I can put a website link or your Google Documents. And you upload the sources and then it'll come into here. Now I can select all or just say, I just want feedback on these two and start asking it questions. Now, let me go to an example with mine where here's another use case. So I have
Hey,
55.
Stacy,
Yeah.
just for 1 second, because there's a question, just so we
Yeah.
just so that we don't lose them. Trying to follow along, did you go first into discover on the top left? Is that where you're writing into?
So what I did was, let's go into my here. If I go here, yes, for the previous example, I go into discover and I can write my question. I'll come up with lots of sources. If I don't know what I want to talk about, I can do I'm feeling curious, but it comes up with a lot of stuff that I don't care about.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, because I can't see the chat on my screen right
Exactly.
now.
I know. I figured, and I didn't
Oh.
want them to be lost the whole time. It's great. Keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and let me know if I need to go slower. So I just get very excited and there's so much to share. Okay, so now let me show you an example where I took 20, maybe 50 podcasts of my own. What I did was I added from my drive also my YouTube videos. So I input my YouTube video and then it pulled in these are all my shows. Okay.
Did you put in, wait, Stacy, did you put in your channel, your name of your channel or
No.
No, what did you put in for YouTube?
Actually, yes, you're right. I did put in my my channel to YouTube, but I might have also done some individual shows too.
Okay, so
if
then
it does individuals, does it catch all of them, or will it? Or do you need your channel for that?
Yeah, I need to test that. I don't remember what I did, but we'll go back and try it.
Cool.
So for the moment, so picture I added all of these shows in. Now, what I wanted to do is say, okay, I have all these shows. I don't even remember them. This is like, I'm at 170 now. These are like 114 and my first episodes, right? So what I can do is start to ask questions of it. So for example, in every podcast, I ask people their best leadership advice. Summarize those for me in a bullet point. So let's see what happens. I'm doing this in real time. Yeah.
I just want to say here that I was on ChatGPT or Perplexity, I can't remember which one, and I asked them to summarize the Passage to Profit show for me without putting any episodes in. And it just gave me generic stuff. And it's like, this is what you should be doing. And it's like, well, we're already doing that. So this is way more powerful.
So this is literally pulling from my podcast. Now, if one didn't pull or I didn't have time, what I did was I added the transcript here. You see, so it had the content to feed and I can ask questions. But the reason this is so powerful is that I can unselect and just say, okay, this podcast episode, I remember with this guest was so fabulous. I just want to ask you questions about this one.
Yeah, so we have a question, Stacy. I was thinking the same thing. Do you have to get the transcript separately or can it see the transcript when it goes through your videos? Like how is it?
Through my video. Yeah,
So,
through my video.
So can it generate the transcript for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So these, you see the red, these came directly from YouTube.
Okay.
The ones that I didn't put on YouTube for whatever reason, I just put it in as text. But then there's other things. Let's say there's a topic that I have a PDF. Let's just go here for a second. Let's say give me the website the website that Amazon talked about AI and customer experience. I remember seeing this. So I go here it is. This article, I am speaking a lot about this topic. So what I did was I'm grabbing the URL and I'm not going to put this in my podcast. I'm going to now I could if I wanted to. I'm going to create a notebook of my favorite articles. Whoops, I didn't mean that.
Okay, can we go back for just a sec? There was a question. How did you originally get all your YouTube videos in there?
I add, and I put YouTube right here, and I paste the URL of anybody's URL or mine.
Of your whole channel. So your channel is doing CX right. So you don't post the individual video names, you just do your whole YouTube channel.
I need to do that with you in a moment because I don't remember if I did it by the channel or by individual shows. We will try the channel. We'll do it together.
Well, so this is the place. So I'll send out the video so you'll be able to rewatch this.
We'll try it now because I think that people may or have this question. So let's answer it.
Somebody also said they just put their YouTube link in it, but
it didn't work.
It didn't work. Do you have any idea why?
So here it is. Let's try. So this is my channel, and I have not spent a lot of time on YouTube. So my podcast is really booming. My YouTube, I'm really just building up now, but I put them all there just as a space. So let's go back. Here's my YouTube channel. Let's do this brand new, as if it were you. So create a new notebook. And I'm going to do my YouTube, and let's see if the whole channel comes through. I don't think it will. It didn't insert. No, so that's why I probably went to each podcast. So let's do it. Here's the podcast. This is my newest one this week. Okay, so now I have that one. I'm going to go to my notebook. Let me go back to my notebook where I actually want to put it. Okay, so here we said, here's my podcast. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to add the YouTube, and this is an individual podcast insert.
Okay, so you can only do one at a time.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
So anyone starting YouTube channel, start doing this now.
Right.
Are you paying for this, Stacy? Is this
No.
a paid version? No, this is free. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So now let me go back for a minute to where I wanted to show you, because it's not just about, this is going to give you content ideas that you can actually do a show on or a blog article on. So let me show you, going back to an example. Let's get out of my channel. So here, this article. Okay, so you can upload a PDF or a favorite article on the web. So this fits the topics I speak about. So now I go to my NotebookLM, and I'm going to call this favorite articles, for lack of a better word. So now I'm going to add a website, which is the one I just showed you about Amazon. Insert. Now I'm going to, why is there an error? Unable to import this web page due to domain restrictions. Oh, okay. So what do? I go around it. So I just grab all the content. Not many don't do that, but I'm going to copy it here because I really want this article. And so now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to get rid of this one, delete this one in this if I can. Add copy transcript, right? So I couldn't get it by the URL. So now I'm going to insert. Now I have it right here. Okay, so now I'm going to ask questions. Summarize this article and tell me how I can create a podcast episode for Doing CX Right show based on this article. I'm repeating myself a little too much.
So
but that's okay.
Stacy, does it need to have your Doing CX Right content in there to be able to look at, to know what kind of thing to do?
No,
No? Okay.
it's smart enough. So here it just summarized for me, right? Potential segments, all different topics. It will, remember, you can do, if you were trying to study, I don't know, if you were trying to study 20 documents, this will give you actually like a study guide of like quiz and answers if you wanted to do something with that. I don't know you would with a podcast, but there's other use cases. There's also generate. So this will create a podcast based on the article. So it's generating it right now. It will literally play a podcast that sounds so real, specific to the topic. Now, I don't know if I play this, you'll be able to hear it, but it's just ridiculous. It will blow your mind away.
We should try. I did that with cats. I put in 2 sentences about cats and it did a whole like 10-minute podcast with 2 different voices. It
Yes.
added a whole bunch of different content that I hadn't put in.
Yes.
It blew me away, but they didn't have names, the people podcasting, and they didn't have any personal stories.
It's just, but imagine, right? Imagine I go to my podcast of 24 transcripts and I say, give me the, give me an overview. I listen to my own show and I get like those tips from, so many shows. So it gives you ideas. Now here's an important thing. When I ask it questions, let's say I really love what it gave me here. So 2024, hold on, I have this thing in the way. Give me 2024 lessons and strategies. So, and it might have been the podcast that read it to me. If I like this information, you add it to convert it to a source, and then it puts it over here. So then you're able to interact with it again. Questions, because there's so much to show you in here.
Well, Stacy, are you helping other people with this? Are you coaching at all?
I am, yeah, on all the different tools. Depending on your use case, this is, I use different tools for different reasons, but this is not something a lot of people know about. So yes, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me and, book some time. But yeah, if you're starting a podcast and you want ideas, you can ask it, I want to start a new podcast based on, no, I would start over, like for somebody who, let's say discover. I want to start a podcast about, well, the burnout one we did before, burnout. Give me my first 5 episode topics, and I want it to relate to current events in the news in April 2025. And like ChatGPT, you will interact with it. So here it is, right? So you can click all or just this one and put it over here and ask lots of questions to it.
We have one question on here, Stacy. Is ChatGPT able to go through the videos like this? Last time I tried to get ChatGPT to analyze the videos, it didn't work. Was that also your experience?
It is my experience. And the reason that I like this and encourage you to learn by playing with it or contacting me or any of us is that I have these all saved. It's like a notebook. I don't have to keep inputting. I keep adding to it. So I can write a book from this. I could write articles and PDFs.
Stacy, can you pull out the transcripts by themselves and use them for something?
Let's look at that. That's a great question. So
Do you
let's,
make posts from this as well? Do you pull
yeah,
out content from something and be like, what's a great piece of content for a Instagram post from this particular podcast?
yep, give me, here, let's just do the newest one I just, here. This is the one I just uploaded with you all. Okay, give me 5 good tweets for from this a podcast episode. Now, I did tweets, but you can also turn them into Instagram quotes and put them in Canva, etc. Here's 5 good tweets. AI voice agents are not coming. They're here now and already improving customer experience. Are you ready? Right?
So
I can throw this in Canva.
Yeah, so for people that don't know that, we can explain that later. So you could throw that in Canva and do what?
And you can put this into, I'll show you. So let's say, so I can then take my different images or quotes. Here's a quote. I can then take whatever it gives me and put it here. And now I have an Instagram ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? So you take what you have here. Whoops. Don't, let's say we did the burnout here. Let's go back to burnout. So that was, I think, this one. Nope. Let's do burnout because that's more common. Well, let's just do the favorite article because I can't find the burnout. Give me 2 quotes that I can share on Instagram. You will not, if your customer experience aren't planning to well, this is all about customer experience again, but I could take, if your customer experience are planning to leverage these you will not be competitive. I mean, I don't really like that, but in essence, I can just come here and paste it and make it into a, put it in as a quote in your own images or use one of the templates they give you. So it's the concept that you can turn into for other social channels. There was one thing I was going to just say. I lost my thought. Darn. Was there another question?
There is actually. Somebody
Yeah.
tried to pull the transcription from the video and it came up with a long essay. It's not conversational. Is there a prompt that would help structure it in a more readable way? I don't want it in an essay.
Okay, so let's pick this podcast. I unclicked all of them. Okay, so let's see. Will YouTube, I'm going to refresh this. We continue. Okay, so this podcast, can you give me the transcript from this podcast or from this, because it's YouTube. Let's see what it does. Now, when I put my shows into YouTube, I use Descript. Oh, there you go. Yes, the answer is yes.
It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's
Is it pretty good?
not perfect English, but it is the perfect transcript of what we said. It's not,
It's not formatted right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it saves you a step. So now I can ask questions of this, right? I can ask, what are 3 takeaways from the from this? And then again, you can use that in your a strong employee experience built on fandom. Oh, fan, because he talks about loyalty and fans. You can narrow this down, tell it to make it shorter. And then the other thing is when it loads into this, I wonder if I play it, you'll be able to hear it, but I can ask it questions from the podcast listening to the show. So again, to sum this up, I love this because I have lots of notebooks that that I can always keep going back to. ChatGPT, I just kind of like a lot of different folders and conversations. I don't even remember where they all are. So I like that this has everything. I also put in here, I have a section that I went to a class, a master class. Well, I put all my recordings and notes and PDFs all in here. And so anytime I want to reflect what I learned in the class, I go back in here and I ask it, what did I learn? I don't even remember. So it's just a place that it's not just for podcasting, it's also like if you had information about a business plan and you said, oh, I need to expand it, right? It'll do that and keep adding it and save it there for you. Questions?
There's one question here. It's not separated, and then this was going back to the transcript. It's not separated as it would be in a caption SRT file. Is it possible to ask it? You know, like ChatGPT, you kind of keep asking it questions and it keeps modifying it. Like, could you now go to this transcript and say, hey, could you put this into this file or this kind of format? Or could you break it down in a specific way? Could you kind of tell it what to do more specifically?
Yeah, there's this interactive mode. You can have a conversation even with the podcast. You can talk. But in this, let's try the prompt. So can you give me an example that
I mean, they said put it into a caption SRT file, .srt file.
Okay.
Can you
I don't know, we'll
format it
see.
by speakers or something? I mean, I think that's what they want, is it to be like, if you do it in a different type of software, you'll get speaker 1, speaker 2, like, you know, you've used
Yeah.
Cast Magic.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe that would be a better prompt, or maybe try both and see which one it responds to.
Let's try. I know for sure that the one I uploaded the transcript, yes, and you can ask questions about the speaker, but that one I entered the text. So this one, yes, here you go. Yep, me and the guest.
Can it put timestamps on there? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that'd be
'Cause-
nice.
Yeah, I mean, so when you're posting your YouTube videos, if you have a really long one, if you put timestamps in your description, people can click on those and go straight to that part of the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they put, okay, so they don't have the exact ones, but you know what? The thing is, come back in a month and it'll be better. These things are changing so fast. So this person wants you to go to the prompt and try theirs, I think. I can't see the whole chat
You want
right
me to
now.
do a new notebook?
Well, so Marie Mishra, he has in the chat, Stacy, can you see the chat? He has the link to his YouTube video, and he's wondering if you can get it to work, because he couldn't get it to work.
I can't, oh wait, I can see chat. There we go.
Yeah, so Jeremy has the way that YouTube does it, which drives people insane. So I used to put those in a Word document and take out all the spaces and stuff and then reformat, but it took time. But if you use Cast Magic for your podcast, I don't know if it does YouTube, but Cast Magic is really good at giving the transcripts of the speakers and timestamps.
Yeah, I mean, my other workflow, because you can only afford so many tools, but
Right.
the thing I do a lot is I'll come into my projects, let's say
Wait,
this
did you
one.
move? Are you into script now?
Yeah, I was just showing
Okay.
how I use Descript and NotebookLM.
Together.
Yeah. So for not to confuse you, and I'll just be very quick, but you can Descript is a tool, but you can if you have struggle with the YouTube, you just upload your show into Descript, and I just copy it here. I copy
Can
it
you
and I
just tell
put it.
anybody who doesn't know what Descript is, like just
Sure.
briefly explain it? Because some people may not.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great
tool.
tool.
So,
Yeah.
so I'll explain quickly, and then I'll also tell you how I combine it with NotebookLM.
Okay.
So Descript is my favorite tool because anyone who uses Microsoft like Word, where you're able to just like be able to delete something like a Word document. So if you don't like something, it's just so easy to edit whatever you do here, it erases it here too.
But you can't put it back. I learned that the hard way.
Oh, well, what
Yeah.
I do for that is I always make a copy of this original. I
Mhm.
duplicate it and then
That's
I'll play
smart.
around with it.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
But what's cool is that I can turn this into Instagram, you know, and I could do so much, you know, with this. But the point is that, let me undo what I just did. But what I do is I will copy this and it does, and this has underlord, which means you can also get brainstorm, write a script. All these AI tools do a lot of this,
So
but
Descript is free, right?
no.
No.
I mean, you might get like one episode out of it. You might.
Okay. Yeah, I have it. I guess I pay for it and I didn't realize it.
Yeah. So the point is that I can come here, I
Back to Google
can
Notebook.
add it to my NotebookLM, right? I just copied it and now start to ask questions of it from what I just pasted. Because I think I want everything in a notebook, one place. I could do it by topic. I can do, you know, each notebook, it's like imagine you're carrying a notebook and each has a different subject. So you can structure your notebooks based on how you like it. And that's just, you know, there's so many different ways to leverage what
And
you're trying to
if
do.
anybody wants to know more about Descript, we can do that another time. And I think we should touch on what the AI agents are. I saw a webinar on this. I don't have a deep knowledge of this, but they're basically your personal bot and they can do online tasks for you. They can do internet tasks for you and then hand you the results. So when you hear AI agent, it's basically a piece of software that's written to kind of be your bot.
So I'll put the link to this podcast because this explains what is an AI agent, and basically you in your own business will start to have AI agents working on your behalf, doing things to help save you time. And so this guy was on Shark Tank and has such a great, cool idea in business. So I definitely recommend learning that. Different day, different topic, but hopefully you have an idea of how this is a tool different than ChatGPT, organizes it all, and lots of use cases.
So why is Notebook free and will it stay that way?
Good question. I'm like, why is it?
So Google right now is trying to compete with all the others. And so they're giving us the ability to play with it. The same thing as Gemini, which is another Google tool. So they're trying to do things very different than the other players. And so it's free for now to get us all enticed, but they'll have pro versions, just like ChatGPT, that we will pay and crave because it's that good.
And they will have ads popping up all over the place. And that's how Google really makes their money, I think, is through paid ads.
Eventually, yeah. Right now, it's not here, but I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
How long have you been using it, Stacy? Like, how long has it been free? Just curious.
Let's see. I don't know if it's December 2nd, December 1st. So
24. So it's been a while. That's a
while.
good run of a really, this is an awesome
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah. And again, remember, like, I want people to realize, like, as you're on a learning curve, I mean, you're here because you're learners. Remember that anything you learn, make a notebook and create it, make it your learning notebook. And then you can start asking it questions and summarize. like I did in my learning thing, I ask it, make me a study guide because I'm going to forget what I learned.
Stacy, one other thing, have you been able to share these files for collaboration? Can you do a team with this? I think you can. I think it said that.
There is, I think there is a way. I haven't done it.
So it seems to me
Oh,
like
add people,
yeah.
people.
Yeah, just like Canva. It seems to me like this may take the place of Google Drive at some point because it's doing a lot of the stuff Google Drive does. You can store, Google Drive is basically storing documents and spreadsheets and stuff. And if you can store everything here, then
But it
then
does, yeah.
yeah, for
Oh,
Google
sorry.
Drive, you have to, right. For Google Drive, you have to pay for extra storage if you get too much. So that may be how they're going to make their money. Who knows?
Yeah, but that's a good point. You know, people can add their Google Drive, all their documents right here. So add it to your sources
Right.
to ask questions from.
And then you have everything in one place and you can invite other people. So that's how Google Docs works, is that you can have 2 or 3 or 4 people working on the same document at the same time and sharing the document. And that's why it was so much better than other programs. And then a lot of other programs have started doing the sharing thing since, but this is going like following that same format as Google Docs, it looks like.
Yeah. And remember, again, like for your business, you know, I started to really like play around with this and think about what are my customers' key business problems. And then I would go and add tons of sources, other people's websites, other people's things that inspire me. And now I can say, help me with my own.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Marie. I'm glad you liked my question. So why is there still an option for ChatGPT? I just think people are comfortable with different types of programs. What do you think?
Agree. And people don't know enough about, they don't really know this one very well. ChatGPT is very well, it's kind of like Uber, right? And then Lyft came along. And then, so ChatGPT is the first. And it's easy. All I'm trying to encourage people to say is now that you're comfortable knowing what ChatGPT is and what it could do, your next step is to be able to now organize all your content.
Mm-hmm. So you still use both though? This just sounds like you really do a lot of your organizing here. Or do you go back and forth between ChatGPT and Notebook, or do you find you're more here?
No, I use them all. I use Perplexity for research,
Mm-hmm.
but I could do research here because they just added this Discover. This is new.
Right. And I go back and forth and get like 3 different ones and ask them the same question. Do you do that too, Sonia? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So
By
this
the
is
way,
another
for
one
kicks,
to add. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Now for kicks, because we didn't do this, but let's just have fun for 1 second. I'm feeling curious. So I'm feeling curious. What should I write about or blog about? It comes up with tons of stuff. They're not my stuff, but it gives you inspiration of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are really not sure, start with I'm feeling curious, but I think it's too broad.
How is ChatGPT different? Like what more can I do that Notebook can't do? We'll talk about ChatGPT now, I think, right? Are we ready to move on to Sonia with ChatGPT? I mean, Stacy, that was a ton of amazing information. That
Yeah, that
was
was fantastic. That
great.
was really great.
And I mean, so you can chime in on the ChatGPT discussion too. So we'll all chime in. So are we ready to move to ChatGPT?
Yeah, definitely. Just wondering, how is ChatGPT different to this though? Like what more can it do that Notebook can't do? That's a question for you, Stacy.
Yeah. So so I which I could show my ChatGPT, but basically I've created folders in ChatGPT. It's not as organized. It's starting to know me more. I just find that for me to go find, where did I ask that question?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
last month, where was that? And did it have all those sources, 40 sources that I want to ask questions from? It would take me a lot of time.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, you could do it a little bit in the new projects, but the notebook really does do that in a really interesting and I think fantastic way. So most of you have probably been on ChatGPT. So here we are, ChatGPT, and we'll all sort of contribute to this one. But we're going to kind of take a look at some of the things that it can do. Obviously, if you want, you can just go to the general ChatGPT and ask it a question, any kind of question that you might want to ask. So I want to start a podcast. Start a podcast. What should I do? And then things, and as you've probably noticed, it's a lot of continuing to give me more, give me more, give me more. One thing that I did find was interesting, and I'm curious actually if Notebook does this as well, but it does start to know your material. It knows your voice. I have a client, a younger girl who's on this whole spiritual quest, and she had been on ChatGPT asking, questions like, are you my higher self? How do I know if you're my higher self? All these like very sort of ethereal kinds of questions. And she had sent me the answers this morning, and they were all in this beautiful, flowery kind of response language. So I thought, try to throw mine in and just see the same exact questions into my ChatGPT, and it was very organized, much like this, with sort of bullet points and in a kind of more streamlined way. So I sent her my responses to the same exact questions, and her comment was, "That's so interesting," because one of the strengths she thought for me was that I usually take big, complicated material and make it more simple. And she's like, there's something in the way ChatGPT does that for you. And when I had seen her answers on her ChatGPT to the same question, it was much more flowery, and she writes a blog that sounded very much like her ChatGPT. So it does start to recognize the nuances. It starts to recognize your topic. So sometimes you have to be very specific about what you want. Otherwise, it might just assume it's on your topic. Where I noticed in the notebook, at least at the very end, it sort of gave much more general things to discover, where I wonder if ChatGPT might know you a little better at a certain point and would automatically tell you certain things that you might want to know first. Not sure. Stacey, you might be able to respond to that. You might have more experience going back and forth. Since I don't do notebook, I haven't yet. You sold me on it.
Yeah, I mean, just to comment, look, it's Google. Google knows so much about us for so many years. So just remember, it's Google, and therefore, when I ask it anything about anyone, my competitors, it just knows.
Yeah.
Well, and hence I had asked it actually. Where did I podcasting guide steps?
Can we,
Podcasting
Sonia,
planning.
Yeah, Sonia, can we have a comment in the chat.
Sure.
So Jeremy said ChatGPT doesn't parse limited memories anymore also. It now can remember every single user conversation it's had with its recent patch. So
Wow.
I believe you, because it's
I
doing
do
that to
believe
me.
that. It has definitely called me out on some stuff. Yeah. And so, and to that point, I decided this morning, well, if I wanted to do a podcast episode and plan an interview with Stacy, I just figured, let me choose Stacy on her topic. And so it just gave me all these things. First, it asked me questions, right? So what's the theme or the message? How long is it? Who's her target audience? What's a specific angle? And, I just went back with some answers that I made up. And then it just gave us a whole episode plan with some titles, an episode structure for approximately 30 minutes. Meet Stacy. It even gave me some different things I could ask about her. Then about the CX strategy segment, I had said something about leadership, so it gave me a little leadership segment. and then a wrap up. And then I thought, okay, well, if I were doing a podcast, I didn't have her bio yet, and I need it, and I don't want to go to her website. I asked for her bio. It gave me her whole bio. And then I thought, let me see, does it have any fun facts about Stacy out there? And get a load of this. Fun and personal facts about Stacy Sherman. I loved it. I thought it was so great.
There are no
You're a serious
secrets.
backgammon player. I didn't know that. But
Oh my God. It pulls things from really long ago. That birthday surprise. Oh my God. That is so funny.
I thought that was brilliant. And what a great conversation starter that me, not knowing you, I wouldn't even think to ask you that, even if I did a full pre-interview. It's right here. It's pulling from everything that's out there on you. And it's giving it to me.
That's crazy. As far as like it knowing you, Sonia, so it knew your name, but somebody said that there are settings in ChatGPT that you can go into your admin settings and you can tell it not to keep your information. So there's a privacy setting in there. I haven't tried that.
That's good to know. I don't know that. And that might be a good thing to know. I mean, it's great that it can pull all these things, again, because it makes it very accessible. But I don't know, at a certain point, I kind of feel like none of us have anything private anymore. It's kind of scary, but it's true.
Yeah.
Well, to that point, Elizabeth, that you can turn off some settings. However, it does affect what it remembers, so it doesn't become as interactive. I've tested that. So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it knows Sonia's name. And it's so funny because when I say it wants to be your friend, it has like little exclamation points and these cute little pictures. And it's like, rah, rah, rah.
Absolutely. It totally does. And when you go to the verbal part, where if you want to, we'll get to that in a second, it really is very personal and just starts to make jokes. Interestingly, my voice activated ChatGPT she was really sarcastic with a little bit of a negative edge. She was a little bit of a downer. I was like, are you always this down?
Yeah, so you'll have to show people the voice activation. I played with that tonight, but it picked up the TV and it's like, what are you talking about?
It does. It might not pick it up here because I tried it. I was on the phone and I was trying it at one point. It didn't. I needed to shut things down. So we'll see. I'll try it, or at least I can show you how you can do it. But anyway, so that is a great way, and you can obviously expand upon any of these things for any kind of planning, whether you're doing a workshop, whether you're doing some sort of a work presentation, a podcast, since we're here on podcasts, or even if you're just wanting to make some kind of a post. But it really, really does help. And again, anytime you want to get more specific, or I'll cut and paste a line and say, could you say this again? It just doesn't sound quite right, or it doesn't sound like me. Can you make it sound more like me? Which is why you do want it to start to recognize you. And it kind of does. In the beginning, you might need to give it a few more cues. But the more you do, it doesn't take very long. I've really noticed that. So I thought another one might be a marketing video creation. So many of you guys are out there, you have your own businesses, maybe you want to do a marketing video. Here is another great way that you can do it. And so I just started. In fact, we could even do one live if you wanted to. If somebody's kind of curious how it works, we can throw it in, or we can just go. Because anybody feel like being a guinea pig? Everybody's like, no, not me.
I see Marie is texting or chatting a lot. And Angelia. Yeah.
Angelia. All right, Angelia. Great. So what would you want a marketing video on?
Are you typing?
I am. So Angelina, unfortunately, your food bank on a food bank. Great.
Okay. Marie had women's wellness too. Maybe you could put and women's wellness.
I think we have to stick
have to
with
stick
one because
one.
it's going to
Okay.
start to give us details. It might get a little too confused. We'd need to do it on two separate
Okay.
things. So we're going to look at, so what a beautiful cause. There's the friendly, right? Let's create something powerful. I want to be your friend and really motivate you. That's very ChatGPT. But before, let's find some questions. It's really weird because sometimes I feel obliged to actually answer in the same way, like, thanks, I really appreciate it. That was good, you know, as if, you know, I don't know, the machine's going to become real one day and come back. I want to make sure I'm good.
It's going to remember that, Sonia.
I was like, why am I doing that? All right, but here we go. What's the core of the message? And it gives you some suggestions. You're welcome to use these, but is it raise awareness, encourage donations, recruit volunteers? It might be all of them, but let's see if we could get a little targeted for you. What would you say? It's creepy stalker coming, exactly. I'm gonna have to go back and be Psycho Nurse Barbara. So Angelia, if you could help me answer this question, what's the core message or the goal of your marketing video for your food bank? Awareness, donations. Are you able to type that in? All right, I'm gonna make up, there we go. Create jobs through volunteering. Okay, so create jobs through volunteering. Great. Any name of the food bank, or is it general? Does the food bank have a name? Mertz Market. Great. I'm sorry. So you could follow the questions. Tone you're going for. What would be something that you're looking for? Do you want it to be heartfelt, hopeful, uplifting? Is it really gritty? Is it to the point? Is it sort of in your face? I'm going to go with the emotional guess, but what would be sort of the tone of the nonprofit that you have? These are great questions too, just to answer if you have your own business, because it really starts to make you think, what is the tone of my business? Who do I want to be? Who am I appealing to? So these are all, you know, very common business questions, but I think we're always digging deeper and deeper and deeper and getting more and more specific as we grow. So hopeful, great. So last one, target platform. Where do you want this? YouTube Short, Instagram, Facebook? And it could be more than one, but let's try for one right now. Giving this, okay, yeah, giving the community that you serve dignity, absolutely. So should we go with maybe a YouTube Short and Instagram? Instagram. Oh, TikTok. Thanks. Okay. Oops. TikTok. Great. Oops. Sorry. Now I'm messing up here. Preferred length. So how long do you want this to be? Probably in the shorter, under a minute, right? Short. So let's just say, we'll call it 45 seconds. Okay. Maybe 45 to 60. So, and then let's just see where it goes, what we get back. Great. So we're building a hopeful, again, super personal, right? TikTok style marketing video for Mertz Market. We want to, you know, volunteering doesn't just feed others, it creates purpose and job opportunities too. So it's already on your side. Video concepts more than the meal. So here's a voiceover script. Think a food bank just gives out food. Think again. At Mertz Market, every can, every box, every hour volunteered builds more than meals. We help people get back on their feet by getting involved. Volunteer gains skills, confidence, and sometimes a whole new job path. It's not just about feeding families, it's about empowering futures. Do you want to make an impact? Volunteer at Mertz Market, because giving back might just move you forward. That's great, right?
Yeah, I wonder if you could copy that and put it in a document
I
and
was
send it
just
to
gonna
her.
do it. So
And
here
then
you go.
somebody
And
was asking
then,
for your first prompt. Sonia, someone missed the first prompt.
sure, it was very, very simple. I just started. Whoops, where was I? I want to do. Whoops, this were mine. Yeah.
Oh, let's make a marketing
Sorry,
video.
let's
on a
make
food-
another, because this was the one I did for myself,
Oh.
just as an example, but then we did yours. So I just told it, because I had one for me right before, let's make another marketing video on a food bank. That was it, super simple. And then it gave me a whole series of prompts. Like, okay, got that, but let's dig a little deeper. What can you tell me about this so I can make it into a script? And then you could take that script and you can talk to Elizabeth about how to put it into Canva, give it some videos, make it pretty, some music. Eventually, they'll be able to do it here also. Yes, it could replace a studio binder. This is where I get really like hit in my stomach of all the things that it can replace. So we do also need to, make sure we're using it for ethical things. It can also be used for really bad things. So we really want to make sure that we're using it for good, using it for ethical, and finding ways in which we can still have human contact and still give people jobs. But that is a big question. It really, really is. And I wish we could ask it, and we could ask ChatGPT, what are we going to do for jobs? But that's a larger debate, perhaps. But anyway, there is a great way where you could use it for a video or for an Instagram post. It's a really cool script. You can tweak it. You could add more prompts. You could say, hey, I really like this part of it, but maybe you could change this. And you've got that.
Sonia, there's one little fun tip to when someone follows what you just said, they can record. If you're local, you'll go to Elizabeth's place. But if you're not local, I recommend that, and we can do this next time, you can put this script into Descript, speak, and it will take your eyes. So if you're reading and looking down, it will take your eyes and look at the camera.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. See, they're replacing actors too. You don't even need that.
I don't know that they could ever replace people completely, though. I've been going to these conferences on this, and it's mixed. Like, some people are really afraid, and some people are like, yeah, but there's always going to have to be human intervention. And, there is. But I think that you're going to put yourself at a huge disadvantage if you don't know about AI at all. You really have to know something about it. So, yeah, that was
I would agree. Yeah, but those are some of the things. And then if you want to explore, there's so many more things that you can do here. So you can really look. These are some of the featured. Canva is one of them, and Elizabeth knows a lot about that. We might actually do a meetup about it, because it's become quite expansive. And another great tool to sort of intertwine into some of the tools that you've heard of tonight. But as you go through, you can also just click on any one of these. Image generator, if you just want to generate a specialized image, you just click on that and tell it what you want it, and it will do it. So it's pretty, dare I say, easy. But when people say go play around on it, sometimes it feels a little daunting, because you're like, well, I don't even know how to start to play around on it. But really, if you just click explore GPTs and you just scroll down and click on any one of these things, it literally will have a box underneath and it will ask you, and you could say, I've never used this before. How do I start? And it will tell you. So you really can go in and just be honest, and it will take you at whatever level you're at. And the more you grow, it grows with you, because there's a lot of very complex things it can do too. I did try the logo creator. I didn't find that to be as amazing. I know Elizabeth has done one on Canva, and I thought it was way better. But you can. So you could go in and you can give the same thing. We could probably do a logo for the women's group or for the food bank, and it will generate a variety of those things too.
Yes. So
Continuing down. And so just so you can see, there's even, I haven't committed to it, but I have started with it. There's even the ability to do an app. Part of what I do is a movement mindset. And so it literally codes an app for you. So
yeah, they're
you could,
coding now. Yeah.
they are coding down at the very bottom. I've done astrology. That's pretty accurate. You could
Yeah.
really put in anything on that. You could get workouts on it. You could get entire meal plans on it. But yeah, here is some of the programming thing. And so this is where it starts to get deeper into coding with Python. And that was part of what I was using just to try to do an app. I haven't done the website generator yet, but it does it. I know people who've used it for a pretty basic website, and it goes up like that. So that's just, I'm happy to answer more questions, but I also, Elizabeth, you can jump in, and I know you wanted to share some stuff about Perplexity. So
Yeah, people were more interested in ChatGPT, so I'm fine to handle Perplexity another time if we want to stick with this.
sure.
Perplexity is a little different. I have the paid Perplexity version, and this is funny because I have different Gmail accounts, and I used to be able to go in as a stranger and get the free account. Now it knows me, and it will not let me access the free account at all. It always puts me into Perplexity Pro, so I can't even pretend like I haven't used it before. These things are so smart. The one thing I'll say about Perplexity quickly is that if you get the paid account, it's $20 a month, and you go in there, you can choose which GPT you want it to use to search for your stuff. So it has ChatGPT 4.0. It did have DeepSeek, but I haven't seen it on there lately. It has Claude. Now, Claude is a little different. It's my son is a programmer, and he uses Claude for programming. And I do want to say here for this programming Python, he said Python is what is on my Mac. But I will say one thing I did use Perplexity for. This Eventbrite event registration got hacked by a spam bot. And I reached out to Eventbrite. They're like, oh, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. So I asked Perplexity to write me a program, some code to delete the spam bot registrations as soon as they happened. And it said I needed the API keys. So I sent it to my son. He said, well, my wife just had a baby, so I don't have time to do it right now. I'm like, really? No, I'm just kidding. But then I sent it to them, and I said, can you just give me the API key so my developer can put this code on? And they fixed the problem like that. But if you can get the API keys, you can go put your own code in some of these places that you're using. I would be very careful because it's really easy to screw things up if you don't know what you're doing. But it looked like that code would work. And I don't know, maybe they did use that code. I don't know. They didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
One other thing, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say, let's keep going with ChatGPT and forget Perplexity because we're getting kind of late, but keep going.
Oh, the one thing, well, two things. Somebody asked, is this the paid version? Yes, this is the paid version. I stretched out the free one as much as I possibly could, but I really did need to go further. Oh, look at that. Thanks. That was great.
Nice.
Cool logo. Nice. Awesome. First time. Way to go. That's a great way to come out of the gate. So yes, this is the monthly one. It's not, there's the Super Pro, which is I think $200 a month, which is more for business, like bigger businesses. It's not that. It's the midway one. The other thing I wanted to show you, because I have a friend, who actually uses this as his assistant. I know I know somebody who uses it as their therapist too. Wouldn't say it's an exact replacement for a therapist, but they do get some interesting answers. But for an assistant, and you can give it a name, or you can ask what their name is. I went on to do it. This is the voice activated. I don't know if it's going to work because I've got AirPods on, so I think it's just going to go back to me and it might not even show up here, but I'll show you the steps. So it's very easy. You literally, this black with the little white things, you click on it. You're going to allow it. And undo my microphone. Okay, now it's listening to me here. So earlier it told me its name was Monday. So hi, Monday. I was wondering if you could help me make a schedule for tomorrow. It does take us. What? So you guys can't hear that. She's super sarcastic. She's just like, here we go. This is her response that I could hear. So I don't have to go to the written form. I could have just responded, but she's super, I need to figure out how to make her a little more upbeat because she's like negative Nancy. Tell me what you need and I'll magically arrange it all because, that's my thrilling existence.
I was asking these questions, drilling down into ChatGPT, and I thought I saw something off to the side that quickly disappeared that was like, why are you asking all these dumb questions? I wonder if
oh, that's so funny. It could. It might.
This.
She's super sarcastic. But yeah, you can go back and forth with it. You can ask it to brainstorm. There is an app on the phone, and it actually has a better brainstorming feature. And to my knowledge, it's separate. It's a separate fee, which is really annoying. But if you're driving a lot, doing a lot of driving, and you just want to brainstorm, you could be like, hey, chat, whatever your name is, you can ask what their name is or give them one. And you can go back and forth like, hey, I have an idea about blah, blah, blah. Could you, what do you think? What are some ways I could figure this out? My husband did this for his business the other day, and he said that the response in the initial brainstorming session was so big, it was like it took him the rest of the day. That was enough for him to go on. He didn't even go back and forth. But you can definitely use it. And again, if it's too much, just say, hey, this seems a little overwhelming. Can you break it down for me? And just talk to it like you would talk to a normal person. So,
right. So Jeremy did a figuring. My son did that of his dog. Like he just did that same thing today. I think you have to be like really pretty good or understand it really well to do that. But that is very cool, Jeremy. Did you see that in the chat?
That's super cool. I see it. I love it.
Yeah. I know. It's so cute. Is that what your brother really looks like?
That's
yeah,
funny.
but people are starting to do that now. I like the pictures that I get from Canva better. So I had DALL-E generate a picture because Perplexity doesn't have an image generator, and I compared DALL-E to what the AI in Canva generated, and Canva's I thought was much better. But we tried Sora, both of us, the video, and it won't let us do it yet. I know people had asked about that in the registration.
Yeah, Sora is here. It has a series of pictures, but it doesn't do video yet. Apparently, they're in a beta version. They're trying to figure out how to, I guess, control or have some safety measures in here, and they haven't quite figured it out yet. So, you can go on and you can get some images, but you can't get video yet. That's coming. We'll have to do a special when that's up and running, but that's the Sora one. I got a question, I think, regarding you were confused and where I went to. So I just went to the top, ChatGPT, to what's on like the and where it just comes up with a basic question. And over in the right-hand corner, there's this black circle with the white lines, and that's the voice activation. Unfortunately, you guys can't hear it because it just doesn't work as well when you're on with a group or on Zoom. I can hear it, so I'm talking to it and it's talking back into my AirPods. But if I took the AirPods off, you guys wouldn't hear it. For some weird reason, it just doesn't work that way. I was trying with my husband the other day when he was on the phone. I was on the phone and it wasn't working. We both got off and did it separately and it worked. So it's a little sensitive, but anyway, if you want to try it for yourself, this is a really great opportunity. Just go to the basic Chat GPT, go over into this voice thing, click on that black button, and this black thing will appear. You might need to turn off or turn on or turn off the microphone, depending upon what it is. And then just ask it a question and hear what they say and see if you can have a conversation with it. It does work. And there you'll have your new assistant or brainstorming partner.
Yeah, and one thing I love using it for too, is doing emails. So we're having this grand opening April 28th of the studio. So I had to put together different emails for different people. And so I really wanted the friendly Chat GPT, and it did a great job. I only had to fix a couple things, and it gave me little icons to go with them and everything else. And I sent the email to one of my friends who's distributing it for me. She's like, wow, this email is great. And she doesn't use Chat GPT. So like if you see that on LinkedIn posts and you see that in emails, that's where that kind of stuff is coming from. So that's a really good use case for it, I think.
Do you have that accessible? Are you able to show us that? Because it was
Um,
really cool.
I don't have it right at my fingertips because I was going to do
Okay.
Perplexity.
Yeah, sorry.
But no, that's
Can be
okay.
forgotten.
But we could show it next time if people are still interested. So that's like, I guess for me for ChatGPT. Well, I did want to mention one other thing about ChatGPT. Sonia, can you type a request in here?
Sure.
Can you ask it, what does an SSD drive look like? Or what is an SSD drive? Because I asked it that. I want to see if you get the same thing coming up.
What
So
does an SSD drive look like?
yeah, just and how does it work? Maybe because I want to see if he gets the same sort of thing coming up that I got. So okay, it's not doing it for you.
Is that
Oh, okay. When I asked that about the SSD drive, say yes, show me images. But it actually brought up people's YouTube videos where they talked about SSD drives. Okay, it's just pulling them off the web. They're not showing the images. But you've seen images in this before. Why is it
I
showing you
have seen.
images? That's funny. So it was actually pulling up YouTube videos for me. So for my art marketing efforts for my husband's law firm, for Gearhart Law, and also for the studio, my goal is to be have a video that shows up.
So it gives me a link so I can click on it.
Yeah, that's not
So
even
this link,
that's not even an
yeah.
SSD drive though, I don't think. Or well, it's not like the one I'm using. But it gives me a video. It was giving me videos of people who were explaining what it was. And so for your marketing efforts, like that would be great if you had a video that where you explain something. And the name as like SSD was in the cover of the video and also in the name of the YouTube episode, then you're the answer on ChatGPT. So that's what we're driving towards with our marketing efforts with my husband's law firm and also with the studio, is to be the answer for people in ChatGPT. So, and short videos are the way to do that.
One note about it, specifically about ChatGPT. I'm assuming of the rest as well, but I will speak specifically to ChatGPT. Um, I had a friend who's taking English. She's Spanish speaking, and she's trying to learn English. And she actually had an English test with punctuation, and it was 100 questions. And she ChatGPT'd all of the answers, and it got 15 wrong. So,
Yeah.
not foolproof. And it was also at an event with a newscaster, and we were talking about how, the future of it, or even the current, like how accurate is the information. And it's not foolproof, right? It's gathering from all the information that's out there, but as we know, all the information that's out there is not always accurate. And so it's just, if it's something specific, and I know, Stephen, you had mentioned it particularly around law, like it's a little sketchy to use it with that because you don't want to be wrong. And the newscaster was saying that, with the news, that they're frequently having to sort of apologize the next day or do a correction on some fact. So it's just know that it's not something to be like freaked out about. But if there's something specific, if you're doing something like law, like medicine, like anything where accuracy is key, definitely double, triple check it, find really solid sources to back it up. But Stephen, maybe you want to speak for a second, even just about how you use it in law, because that's in an area you really can't afford to mess up.
Yeah.
It's different if you're
Yeah.
making a video for your own company and it's your stuff. You can control that. But when it's legal information, you want to be right.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, I mean, you're basically right. We try not to use it that much in terms of actually like, making a deliverable, right? I think there have been plenty of cases already, even where lawyers have used AI to make something that it has not gone over well for them. A lawyer has submitted a brief written by AI or ChatGPT, and it wound up just like making up precedent and fake cases, and they submitted that in court, and obviously they got reamed out by the judge, and ethical concerns and fines and all these kinds of things. And earlier someone was talking about the man who was representing himself in court, who tried to use AI to be his lawyer, and made like a fake AI avatar. Judge was not a fan of that. So yeah, we try not to use it that much. When I do use it, I use it as a kind of like a tool, like a search engine. If I'm doing research, I'll use it. I'll ask, for example, Lexis has its own AI. I'll ask it kind of a general statement of the law, or to pull some cases for me, just like I would ask, Google, or like an actual search engine. And then I'll just take those responses and I'll do my own research independently off of that. But that's the furthest I'm really going to be using AI as a lawyer, because other than that, it terrifies me. So yes, my job is safe for now, thankfully. Yeah. But we've also, I mean, especially in IP, which is Gearhart Law specialty, and I'm in trademarks and copyrights. There's like, it's a whole new world out there with AI, and there's so much to talk about. We did a couple months back, we did a podcast, a few of us lawyers at the firm, a podcast about AI in law and IP and how that's being affected. And that's on our YouTube channel, if anyone's interested.
The Gearhart Law YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, that was last month. It was great.
Mm.
Somebody had said, I think it was Jeremy, there's, and I don't know, maybe some of you know what this is. I'm not sure. There's one I saw where a video AI can take the figurine photo and make a video of the figurine walking out of the box and grab one of the item assets and use it. Forget what it's called though. Saw it on LinkedIn post. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know, Stacy, Elizabeth, maybe you guys know, or somebody else out there.
I'd have to ask my son. He's up on all this stuff. I never heard about ChatGPT till he told me about it, and that was like a year before everybody else heard about it. So yeah, I'll ask him about that. So
Great.
yeah. Or do we want to keep going? Is there any, I mean, I don't know if Stacy has given any of her use cases for ChatGPT. I guess she kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little brain fried, so you're not getting the best of me at this moment, but um I would say I love the cases that Sonia, what you talked about, Sonia, and I would encourage you to take these and turn them into projects, which is on the left side. I do a
Right
lot with
here.
projects. So another time we can
Name it.
talk about that, but that's a favorite feature of mine. Um, but again, if you found that um if you find that you're asking the same questions and trying to dig deeper, again, there's a place for the notebooks versus the projects. There's different reasons I would pick one over another, but I do use projects a lot.
Yeah, here is when you go into projects. Thank you. So here I just named it podcasts. And so then you can type into it many of the things that you were doing with Notebook. You can add files here. It doesn't, I don't think it does quite what Notebook does, though, in terms of being able to store all of your things and just be able to pull everything in the way that Notebook does. I haven't seen ChatGPT do it quite as well as what I saw tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I find that so what I would do is, let's say in this case, you know how you asked some questions about me and fun facts, and like you kind of created your structure, which by the way was scary how the feedback it came
I was
back with.
surprised too. I was like, wow, they really knew it.
I mean, the fact that I like Hallmark cards, I mean, really? Like, it's true, but that's scary. So, but I would say that what you showed is a great use case here of a podcast structure. And I would put that into make it a project so that you can give somebody who you're going to have a guest or a topic and keep the structure there. But what I'll also do is if you have an interview show, you could also say, take all of the content, put it in one notebook about the person. And so then you just have a whole file on them from like even their social media posts that go in there. And so I don't know how much this is pulling from everything, you know, so you can use both or you know, and or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of would agree with that. I have to play with Notebook and see and compare, but the podcast, the projects, I mean, I just wrote podcasts as the title, but projects is a great, it's probably the closest thing to the Notebook that we saw in terms of its capability of what it's able to do is in this feature and that projects feature. And then any other ones, just when you're wanting to explore, is explore chat GPTs and just click on any of these things. And then the basic is up top.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, unless there's some other, I mean, I can, questions, obviously, AI, you could go on for days. But I know, if there's anything else you want to add, or if there's something else specific somebody is asking, how is a project different to Notebook?
Yeah.
Stacy, that's really, I'm going to throw that back to you because you
Yeah.
really have a better comparison.
Yeah, so projects is a great way to do what Notebook kind of does at a very small level. You're not going to have projects this, you know, big. And it's not pulling from your YouTube over there and your, you know, I could pull from LinkedIn conversations and like it's just such a totality view. This is still really deep, but again, from a project perspective, I just don't see you having that many folders, whereas the notebook's just better organized. So it depends how you like to work, but I think that notebook does pull from your from the links you give it from your Google Drive. I don't think Google Drive goes into this.
It does. I mean, there is you can actually. I mean, I think it does a lot of the same things because you can add any files. So you can add a Google Drive
Okay.
into here, and you can add your individual YouTube from every show. And so you can store it there. I just don't think it's as well organized. It's not as easily,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
view of it isn't as good. It just doesn't break it down as easily. I feel like the other one seems like a better, more visual and an easier way to break down all of the content and store it. This, I
Yeah.
think, has the capacity to do about the same. It's
Yeah.
just not as neatly organized.
Yeah, it's a user experience difference. But the one thing we didn't get to talk about tonight that is the tremendous difference, and I encourage people to try it, is the podcast style. But it turns all of the content and you can go for a walk and listen to the voices talk about, in podcast style from NotebookLM. So I don't believe this will take all those multi sources and read it to you or tell you like the bottom line speaking to you. I don't know that it will do that here.
I have not seen
Not,
that.
not yet, anyway.
Right.
Right.
So all these are evolving. So every time you go back or every time I go back and look at them, there's something new and different. And it's just amazing. And the Canva rollout. So I know Melissa, if you're still here, Melissa watched it and I watched it. The things Canva has put in is just amazing. I mean, they've been upgrading constantly. So if you're using a program, it doesn't have something you want, and you can tell them too, like you can give them feedback and say, hey, why don't you add this feature? That's what the Canva rollout people said. They said our customers were asking for this. So we gave it to you. Here it is. But yeah, just go back and it'll probably be there. So, okay,
Yeah.
I guess, with that, oh, can you stop sharing? And I want to just share for
Oh, yes.
one more
Sorry.
minute.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oops. Let me get, oops. Share.
Jeremy meant to go to Canva Create, but slept in. Maybe we could do a recap next time.
Yeah, they recorded it. So I asked Perplexity to do an image and it said, well, I can't do those, go to DALL-E. So I said a red sports car driving down a road between trees and a cliff. And this is what I got from DALL-E. I used, what's it called? Magic something in Canva. And this is what Canva gave me. So I like them both. I don't know if you can go into DALL-E and say, specify, like, give me something that's realistic looking versus like a drawing. I just used it rough. I haven't used DALL-E a lot. I used it about a year ago and I wasn't real thrilled with it because I love Canva. And that's just it. There's so many of these tools. Find the one you like, you know. With that though,